Hi everyone, and welcome to the dissertation diaries. I did these already when I was doing my bachelor's thesis in 2022, and now I am already working on writing my master's thesis, and as you know me, it is going to be obviously it's going to be literary. It's a literature degree after all, so that isn't really weird, but it's going to be very interesting because it's very pop culture, because I will be looking at young adult dystopian books, more specifically, most likely these 3 series. So we have the Hunger Games, we have the Maze Runner, and we have Shatter Me. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the main characters in these books, and check whether they show symptoms of psychological trauma. So like for Katniss, I'm already pretty sure what the result is going to be, because it's kind of a well-known fact that she does have PTSD. But I'm very excited about these 2. I'm also very sure that Juliet has PTSD from her gift. But yeah, I'm excited about what's gonna happen with Thomas and his amnesia. Well, I don't know why I did that, I'm sorry. Because I'm like questioning whether it's also a trauma symptom or really just something that Wicked did to them. But yeah, that's kind of a very broad introduction to what I'm going to be doing the next couple of months. It is very exciting because I have already written a first draft, and I sent that out to my fellow master's students, like that I'm in the class with today, and I'm gonna be presenting my paper, so kind of the idea behind my master's thesis in that class next week on Wednesday. So in a little bit less than a week. Today is Thursday, but I have everything ready. I'm very nervous but also very hyped because I am very passionate about this topic. I already wrote 1 term paper about the Hunger Games, which is why it's already so annotated. As you can tell, there are a lot of notes and pencil, and even more notes here. It was a very interesting paper. I kind of wrote about time and basically control of the body in the Hunger Games, and revolution through care. So yeah, just stuff like that with my notes. So I'm very excited about this, but I'm also extremely excited about Shatter Me because it's going to be so interesting, because we have this strike through passages, And I obviously want to look at, I obviously don't only want to look at whether the main characters have trauma, but I'm obviously also going to look at how like what symptoms they show. So those are like the first two facts, like do they even have some sort of trauma? Second point, how, if so, how does it show? And a third, how do they kind of narrate that trauma? Like how is it portrayed on the page? And I love the strike throughs in Shatter Me. And I was talking to my professor, and she was like, because we were discussing like unreliable narration, because I was also gonna look for that in the books, whether that's a sign of trauma, like being an unreliable narrator because of the trauma. But she mentioned to me that for years she's wanted to like found a new category that isn't an unreliable narrator, but an unsure narrator. And I love that so much for Julia. I think I'm actually gonna work with that term in my thesis, because that's the thing, like she is so unsure of herself, and doubts her thoughts and her very being and everything so much. That's kind of where I'm at. I have like a rough structure. I have a lot of trauma theory already back from my bachelor's thesis, because I did my bachelor's thesis on trauma in Hanya Yanagihara's A Little Life, if you haven't seen the videos from back then. And yeah, I think that might be all for now. I can't believe I'm filming this video right now. This is so crazy. It feels like I've been studying for ages, but at the same time it feels like I could do it for so many more years. It's quite wild because I really do love what I do. I love like writing silly papers about like the books that I read for the first time when I was like 13-14 years old. I love being able to do that and showing people that these books matter and that they have something to say, and that I have something to say on the topic. And yeah, just love pop culture research because it's all political and it matters so much. And yeah, just a little message to fellow literature people, like what you're doing matters even though it doesn't feel like it does, but it does. Yeah. Hi, I am done with my presentation. I will get the grade later on, so I don't know yet, but it went okay. It was a pretty lively discussion around the whole topic, so that was quite exciting. I was a little bit overwhelmed because there was quite a lot going on, but yeah, it's done. I am basically done with my stories. studies, done with all of my classes, except for my thesis. And yeah, I will take you along for the journey